Hey Ranger Nation, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, Fighting Spirit Green Ranger, and Mighty Morphing Putty. Now, don't get me wrong, you kind of think Green Ranger and Putty work perfectly well. But why the Fighting Spirit version? It doesn't make sense. You think you could maybe put a different Putty in. It just, to me, just does not make sense on this one. So, let's have a look. We got the Putty here in the window display. We've got the lovely Putty design here. We've got the Green Ranger, aka Tommy, with a silver buckle. Is it in Fighting Spirit? I can't remember. And then obviously we've got the Green Ranger there, Green Ranger on the side, Putty versus Green Ranger there, Putty face there in blurred, and it says, if you've not seen it, it does say Mighty Morphing Power Rangers at the top. And then there we go. And there we go. So let's open up these bad boys and have a look inside. And here is Tommy, the Green Ranger. Now, I'm going to state this now in case I forget later. I really don't like this figure straight away. It's taken me around about 20 minutes to try and get him to stand up, to pose him so he doesn't look like he's slanting to one side. So, I'm going to state that there. I think that this is kind of a really bad figure straight away. And there's also one thing that I've noticed on mine, which I normally get with mine, and that's bad paint. I'm going to show you in a second. So first of all, let's look at this. Now, I don't know why they're not extending the necks, because it feels like Tommy is hunched over, like his neck has just disappeared, and I'm like, really? Like, does everyone have like no necks in Power Rangers? So I know it's kind of hard to kind of get the length right, but you know, you kind of think you'd give it a little bit more room. So I really don't like the fact that it is. But let's look. So you've got a silver stripe on the top, which is fine, which is in the Fighting Spirit. The helmet looks okay. The shield looks okay. We've seen pretty much loads of them already, so there's nothing there. It's exactly the same. We've got his armbands there, and the green is fine. This is what annoyed me, is when looking at the belt, it feels like the dragon coin is completely gone. You only see a little bit, so I don't know why that is. You know, the circle is gone. There's no paint on the coin. And for this one, I'm going to say, like, I know for the price that I paid, it's quite an expensive figure to some degree. So you kind of think that all of them would have been checked over, and this really annoys me. So again, I don't know why no one checked this properly on all the figures before shipping them out. But we can see it. I'm not a huge fan of that one. And I'm sure that that's on the wrong side. I'm sure that that's meant to be here. Yeah, I'm sure it's meant to be on the other side. Let's just have a quick look at the box. Yeah, every single one that I've seen, that is meant to be there. So I don't know why they've not done it. The gold trim looks fine here. The legs are fine. It looks okay for what it is, but I'm not happy because of those two things. Coming down to the last part here, we can see that there is some gold paint flicker on that. I'm not really too bothered on that. I generally thought the leg would be straight, but on this one it kind of rears off to that side, which I'm not a big fan of. But we can see you've got the green trim there, which you normally see on everything, and that's fine. Now this is, again, like, figures never stand up when you just turn them around. So looking here, this is what I don't like. Like, this has bubbled over. It feels like it just wasn't painted, or maybe when it was pulled from the mold, it was a bit meh. So that can be cleaned up, but it's just a tad bit annoying. And again, all these, it feels like these are longer than, yeah, like if you look here, these go down all the way here, where that stops up there. So again, this is really badly painted for what it is. And you think, since this is like the golden boy, or will be, you think that you'd get the figure right. Like, even having to stand them up like that, I think it's really bad. So I don't know why this figure doesn't pose. So this is a one that you're going to have jumping in the air. Looking at the back of the figure, it's fine. We can see there's some marks here on the bands, which I'm not really too fussed on. I don't know if these stripes are, it feels like looks like these are longer than there. So again, like, it feels like they've just painted one side and gone meh. You think that with the cuffs they would be easy enough to kind of paint. Shield looks fine at the back. It's a color that I expect to see on the Green Ranger, and the gold I'm not really bothered about. It kind of suits the figure. Lastly, the helmet looks fine. We can see the silver coming down from the top. When we look at the top of the figure as well, it's kind of painted, but we can see, oh no, I thought just then, I thought, oh right, there's some silver there. We see the red little diamond too, but yeah, that's absolutely okay. So yeah, let's look at the putty. This, I think, is my first putty figure that I've actually ever owned, and I generally thought that you'd have a bit more kind of like darker paint around, because it's very kind of like, you don't know where the face and the hood kind of the eye, like, you know that when you see the putties in the show, the faces are a bit darker compared to where you've got like the hands, which you'll see in a minute, which I generally thought that would be the main like area focus. But you have your stripes, you have the face, like you've got the bumps along the face, which all putties do, and then you've got this kind of grey, which is fine. The mouth is there. He looks like he is like an angry putty, like he is about to fight you properly. This is what I mean, like I generally thought the face would be this sort of grey colour, which would be fine. That would really stand out to me. You know, seeing as this is a big thing for a putty, you generally would have more detail to it. It's fine. One thing I forgot to mention in the chest, which I'll show you briefly here, it has the butterfly thing that they applied for Kimberly, which is kind of cool, which they talked about, which I think is a generally good thing. One thing I really like, if he stands up properly, because these figures just like falling over, like not balanced, as I really like the belt buckle, and the belt buckle on the hands really sell it for me on this figure, but majority of this is just like a normal grey. Can't really say much about the boots. They look like Wellington boots to me, or wellies. Very like a bit darker grey than the rest of it, which is fine. Again, like the main thing I remember from putties is hands, boots and face were all different colours compared to the spandex that they wore, but this is fine. Like there's no really much detail. That's roughly about it. Looking at the back of this figure here, you can see that again, badly pulled from the mold. We can see the damage there. It's not really damaged, but it just looks a bit meh to me. It feels like these were either rushed, and I really hate saying this because I love this line. I just really hope that most of the double packs aren't just rushed for it, that they can actually take time sculpting it, and especially for the price that you pay for the double pack as well, you think they would actually add more to it. But yeah, you can see it was badly pulled. You see there, it's pretty much very kind of dull. Coming back to it, the main details, I say, the main thing that focuses on this figure is definitely here, that like the detail that they've put into the hands, the arms and stuff like that, I really generally like. I didn't really mention before, but you've got the kind of blade, which I think looks kind of cool, and then obviously in the other ones you get a hand and you get kind of a ball, which I think is kind of awesome. You can see that that's where the figure will move when you try and move it around. So yeah, that's not too bad. Coming to the top, again, there is hardly any detail on this. You can see there's some crinkled lines just there, and that's pretty much it. So it's a kind of a figure that has no detail at the back. Let's do the articulation test. The feet, all the feet are exactly the same. Just, do you know what? Let's just make it so they're not easily posable. That really irritates me, because you have to really force it. Just be really careful with it. It's not what I would suggest. That is a lot easier to do, but again, like with that easily bending, like why isn't that one as easier to bend? So just be careful, because to me that's really bad. Legs move around, legs move around. Feels like, I don't want to say cheap, but so this one also has the kind of butterfly thing, which is a bit of a shame, because you think that they would have kept it to go up and down properly, not just you're limited to there and that's it, like that. Bend, like you have to be really careful with these. I think this is what really annoys me about like just about this figure in general. And then you've got the head moves around, moves all the way there, and then that's about it. So let's look at the articulation for this one. Yeah, they definitely need to fix the feet, I think. I understand that once it clicks in place, it's fine, but to me, it kind of needs more. Like this doesn't feel like it's gonna break, like the MMPR green. Moves around, moves around. So it's kind of cool. Again, like they have this butterfly type thing, which I think we're going to see on all the figures, which is fine, but it would be nice if you could move the hands all the way up, because, you know, oh, can you do that? Oh, maybe you can with the putty. You know, like he's jumping down, attacking like that. That I think would be fine. You know, kind of joint there. It's fine. Like that. That's fine. It feels a bit kind of loose now. And then the head turns all the way around, and then that's kind of it. Let's look at the accessories. Here is pretty much the Sword of Darkness. Now, I don't know why you got this with this pack, because it just seems pointless because it wasn't in Fighting Spirit. So again, it's just weird. You think you'd save this for your Green Ranger original rather than the Fighting Spirit one. So one of the other things is you get a putty hand, which is kind of like, you can see that's where the hand is, so it's holding onto it. And again, you get a standard hand to kind of go with. Now, with the putty, it feels really weird that you can't turn this around properly. Not unless there is a way of doing it properly, but it feels like this should have been on, it should feel like this should have been on this hand the way it is. But yeah, those are the kind of extras. You do get as like extra things. So you get like the kind of attack that goes on the Sword of Darkness. You get the Tommy head right there. So we're going to have a look at that in a second. And then you get this little thing that goes with the putty. So yeah, those are all the accessories that you get. Let's take a look at the head, and let's just rip this off. And there we go. There's the Tommy head on there. It doesn't fit properly. It's not the best. I generally think that it's just a reused head. Also, like, trying to put it on was such a pain. I just generally don't think that this adds to the figure at all. I think it's kind of a bad one. So I'm going to be leaving the Green Ranger helmet on there. I think that's probably it. And just in case if I forgot, here is the Dragon Dagger from the accessories. It's pretty much exactly the same as all the other ones, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on that one. So you can get it, check out the Jason review, because it's literally on there. We're going to see some more Dragon Daggers. The Draken comes with a Dragon Dagger. That's going to be fun. But there we go. My kind of final thoughts on this is I think this is the worst figures that I've seen. It feels like, I don't know if they were rushed. I think with the way that the Green Ranger stands normally, that it shouldn't be a thing. Like, it should stand up properly, like straight, rather than one leg go one way and one leg go the other. The putty is quite nice, but I would have loved more detail around his face. I found that trying to change his hand was annoying, from taking like that away, that you have to twist it, because they're all kind of brand new. They're very stiff and they've not had much around. So when I was pulling it, I was literally thinking, oh well, that's got to come off. And then I felt like the arm may drop quite a bit, and I hated that. I just hated the thought that you pay so much for a figure and it could break just because of some stiffness, or the fact is that it doesn't really move. Now, if you're a huge fan of Tommy and you really want to get this, by all means, get this figure. It's nice to add to the collection. I just don't know why they went through the Fighting Spirit one rather than going for Green Ranger, like normal, because of the putty. It just, to me, is a bit of a weird thing. Also, like, I'm annoyed that the belt, the buckle, the paint's really off. That just, to me, is really bad. And it just makes me kind of think, why? Like, I'm guessing it's just mine. I'm sure I've not seen anyone else talk about it, but to me, it just felt like it was a thing that could have just been changed and done painting. What am I saying? So basically, if you're going to get this figure for adding it to collection, by all means get it. It's a nice addition to it. If you're buying it just solely for the Green Ranger and a putty, then I possibly would kind of move away from it. You know, I just don't know. I'm guessing that they're going to bring out another Green Ranger with the proper like color on his helmet, not the silver stripes. But yeah, that's kind of it. So Ranger Nation, what are your thoughts? Have you got this already? What do you think about it? Are you going to add this to your collection? Are you a huge Tommy fan? Let me know down below in those comments. And if you've liked this video, then hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. And as always, Ranger Nation, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.